Hey guys, this is John with the Alpha Channel update for Wednesday, June 19th, 2024 here in Los Angeles. And the first thing I have to do is acknowledge that, boy, did I mess up yesterday. This book is not difficult. This book is incredible. And when I finally read it, I realized that I wasn't frustrated with this one. I was frustrated with the other one that I'd most recently read, this bit with the bear. And I'd sort of taken it out on this issue. This is 113, Roy Thomas and John Buscema doing Conan the Barbarian, Devil in the Family. And this is another sort of Oedipus, his name is Oedipus, not Epidus, Oedipus sort of storyline in that, well, all of these, these are all about family, it seems like, these last few ones I've been reading. So this is another mom and her child. Here they are on the cover, right here. And so what happens is Conan and his buddy, Conan and his Stygian, are wandering through a dark forest and they get attacked by bandits. And Conan chases them all off, but his buddy gets wounded in the shoulder. Okay, so I really did this book a disservice yesterday, and I am humbling myself before you and the comic book gods by retracting my previous statements and explaining what happened. So this guy's wounded and Conan's going to find help for him. And he says, no, we need a witch woman, a forest witch woman. And the only way to get her is to burn the liver of a stag. And then she'll find us. Or as a matter of fact, Conan remembers that's how to do it. I just read this. I can't believe I forgot that. Conan says he could wander through this forest for a year and never find one, but there's one way to get them to come out. You burn the liver of a stag. So he hunts down a deer and burns his liver. He offers the guy some food, but he doesn't want it. I think he's vegan or something like that. And then but the girl shows up. The witch woman shows up right here in the bottom panel, and then here she is, the white-haired girl. Beautiful girl, because of course they are. She's in a movie. Of course they're beautiful. And she and her son explain to Conan what they need to do to fix this guy, to heal him. They need some herbs, they need some special stuff, and she sends her son to get it. And when he comes back, Conan notices that this little boy has these horns, right, growing out of his head. And the mom then we get the obligatory flashback. I swear to God, every one of these has a flashback. And she tells the story of how she used to be this herbal healing village woman who was accused of witchcraft, and then she was attacked by the villagers. That's what's happening on these couple pages. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, you see where it is. And then all the villagers are murdered except for her. Down in the bottom panel, you see the silhouette, the shadow around her on this first page right here. She knows what the monster wants and why it killed everyone else but her. And then, a year later, she had a baby. So 9 months later, she has a son, and her hair turned white. So Conan's taking all this in, but she's healing his friend. So in the meantime, she's healing his friend, and Conan has to go out to do something or other. And he, of course, runs into the monster. Oh, they leave. Here's what happens. They leave the camp. And Conan's talking with his friend, and the monster shows up. And they have a fight, and the monster goes looking for his bride and his child. And this happens a lot in these old books. So, and really, I have to confess, I could see that the art was great, but I was in no mood to really read the comic. The previous one had been kind of off because it had been in the middle. Today's comic is great, by the way. Today's comic is by Bruce Jones and Val Merrick. But see, check out this art. This is amazing. So this is where the monster catches up with them, and Conan at the same time catches up with the monster. And there's a bunch of drama. He has to fight it with his sword. The sword breaks, and then he realizes its face is not as well protected as the rest of it. Blah-de-blah-de-blah. They fight. He's going to crush it with a rock, but it grabs him by the heel and flips him upside down. I do remember that because it was a little, it's very Predator, Arnold smashing the monster with the rock, but it's a little cold-blooded to kill someone while they're down with a rock. Then Conan's wizard friend, who had been healing and left behind, he shows up, casts a spell on the monster, sets it on fire, and it runs off into the Stonehenge pillars that close behind it, maybe to never return. And then Conan's wizard friend, the Stygian, explains that he'll stay with the forest woman and her son and take care of them, and they can be a happy family. Meanwhile, Conan has to go on his way. And this is actually a really good book. It's really well written. I think the previous one may have been one where it was drawn and written, or drawn from a loose plot, and then they went back in to fill in the gaps. I think that may have happened with this one here, the bear. But today's is awesome. Today is Conan the Barbarian 139 by Bruce Jones and Val Merrick. You may remember Bruce Jones from Conan 25. Is this 25? 25. He wrote A Hitch in Time in 25. This is Conan 25, if you remember, if you saw this episode. So this is Conan out wandering on a horse, and it gets murdered, and he needs a new one, and he agrees with some villagers to help them. That's Savage Tales. This is not this one. He's been hired to capture this girl who's an outlaw, right? He's been hired to capture her because she murdered someone and bring her back to the village for 2,000 pieces of gold. I remember this. And he brings her back to the village, and my frustration is that that's one panel where he turns her over, and that could have been at least a page or two. And then on these 2 pages, Conan thinks about going back, and he finally does. And he rescues her, and she's about to be crushed by a boulder, and he rescues her. So that's this one, A Hitch in Time. The boulder is actually attached to, Conan ties the boulder to a hitch. So the boulder is frozen by a wizard's spell. It's frozen in the air, and only Conan can move because he's been bitten by a serpent. And so he and his horse can move too, because the horse was bitten too. And so he ties the boulder to the hitch that is trapping the girl, and then when the boulder falls, he pulls her to safety. And then there's drama with the wizard, because there's always drama with wizards, and they never keep their word. And but the reason I bring that up is because Bruce Jones wrote this one, 139, and it is referenced in this one, A Hitch in Time, but it's referenced as 134, and I don't have that episode. But anyhow, this issue is awesome. So right here, this is the continuation of a cliffhanger. If you'd had issue 138, that was a cliffhanger, because this one explains with a little bit of flashback how they got to the situation where they're at, fighting this red demon. This is the wizard they're fighting to get the jewel from. That's the wizard they take it back to. See, the wizards are always betraying guys, right? Conan kills this one with a upward thrust through the chest of his sword. And I like the way this guy draws Conan, Val Merrick. It's not as rendered, but it's good line art. And of course it's just like flat coloring, but still. So here's Peya is the girl's name, and now she has the magic ruby. And she calls, so all these guys are attacking Conan. This is awesome. All these guys are fighting Conan, and she calls down this avalanche, and you can see their faces in the bottom here. No hands. It would have been great to have a hand sticking up or a leg sticking up out of the rubble, but the faces are good. See, and I'm so glad I'm doing this because I'm learning a lot. Like, these are little things. Do this, don't do that. And this is a good way to learn. This is a good way to learn. So here, Conan and Peya have to fight off lizard creatures who are living in the underground catacombs. This book is fast-paced. It keeps moving. My shoulder's still fucked up, but I took some more time to read this, and it was really, really, really good. So here they're just about out, and at this bottom panel there's a giant wall obstructing their way. I do think the artist could have drawn scales on the wall and still made it look like cement. It's obvious that it's a snake. I mean, it's going to be a snake, right? So, of course it's a snake, but it's still pretty shocking. This is such a good issue. This is such a great, great, great issue. And they have to fight it. And here's where she tells him, hey, don't you remember I rescued you in episode whatever, 134, Hitch in Time. And in this one, when the wizard betrays Conan, at the very end, that's exactly what she does. She is the Deus Ex Machina, which I think I called out in that episode. Oh yeah, you don't even see her. she just tells you that she rescues him. So you don't even see her on this last page, and this is it, where she rescues him. And it may have gotten redrawn by the time we got to this one. So 134, that issue may have been completely redrawn. The whole boulder thing may have been redone, may have been like set up. I want to get that issue now and see what it was like. But here she is, and she starts spitting fire on Conan that makes his skin turn to scales, just like on the cover here. I love when the covers reflect the interior of the comic. I have an idea for covers where you have a picture on the cover, and then it's like a Dungeons and Dragons encounter where on the back there's a bunch of rules about who has what weapon and how to fight it, how to fight them, and who to attack first, and what order to attack, and who to attack with what, and how do you win, and how do you win for each character. I have a few of them laid out. I have like 12 of those laid out that are going to be really fun to sell. So here's more. They're fighting over the ruby. The girl helps him, and then Conan gets the ruby. And I think this is the part where... Okay, so once they escape her, this is awesome. Conan dives into her mouth and cuts her open from the inside, cuts this snake goddess's heart out. Clearly, she can't turn him to stone with her gaze, so that would be a little too tough even for Conan. He'd have to do everything out of a reflective shield, which clearly he does not have. But then he cuts himself out of the snake's body, and they go see the wizard, who betrays the girl and cuts her throat, and Conan uses the ruby to heal her throat, and then she curses him for a liar and has his tongue turn into a snake and kill him. That is just awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. That is an awesome ending. I hope I'm holding this in the right range for the camera. But yeah, this is a really good book, really good episode. And I really love this commercial for a Wolverine, a 4-issue series from Frank Miller coming up. His hair is just crazy. His hair is crazy. I do think Clem Danzig would have been the best Wolverine. If they had cast him in the 90s as in a Wolverine solo movie like they did The Punisher, that would have been just incredible. So that's we looked at 3 different Conan books. Just looked at them. But yeah, so Conan's awesome. For this channel, for Alpha Channel, Conan is really our flagship sort of mascot character. Conan on a skateboard is really what I'm doing with this series. And something I wanted to say about that, and I'm spaced on it, so it'll come back to me. I've discovered that if a good idea is really good, you can forget it and you'll remember it again. So here's Wildwood Tarot for today. This is the box. And we have the Queen of Bows, the hair. And that is really pretty cool. And I do have some art that I was working on last night, but I'm going to wait to show it to you guys, maybe tomorrow. I want to finish it up a little bit. I'm really excited about it. I don't think I have so much any drama I want to talk about. I, of course, want to recommend 26 hours of audiobooks here on YouTube, the Trials of Ash series, volumes 1 and 2, The Legacy of a Mad Scientist and the Legend of Ashley Fox, about a young girl and her brother on the run from the government when their dad is branded a traitor. And I'm going to skip over politics. Yeah, I just hope everyone's having a great week, and I'll talk to you guys next time. See ya.